exhibition, Key Figures in the Museum's History, serves as an introduction to the exhibition Museum from Past to Present, as the foundations of the museum collection were laid by three remarkable individuals: soil scientist Vasyl Dokuchaiev and philanthropists of the early 20th century, military diplomat and officer Pavlo Bobrovskyi and aristocrat from Lubny Kateryna Skarzhynska. The Natural History Museum of Poltava Huberniia Zemstvo was founded in 1891 after the report submitted by Professor Vasyl Dokuchaiev. The museum's collection was initially based on natural history specimens collected by Dokuchaiev's expedition. It consisted of more than 4,000 soil samples, 500 rock specimens, over 800 herbarium sheets. Some of the materials that have survived to the present day are displayed in the showcase dedicated to Vasyl Dokuchaiev. Much of Dokuchaiev's collection was severely damaged during the Second World War. The showcase also contains other exhibits acquired during the museum's early years: herbarium sample Bulbous meadow-gras of 1914, mammoth microscope of German company Carl Zeiss of the late 19th century. In 1888, Vasyl Vasilyevich Dokuchaiev headed the expedition that explored soils of Huberniia at the behest of Poltava Huberniia Zemstvo. This expedition became a landmark in the history of studying natural conditions and resources of the region. 15 district volumes and the 16th volume covering of the region as a whole were compiled from the expedition's research materials. The field journal of the Poltava expedition and one of the published volumes devoted to the evaluation of lands in Poltava region are displayed in the exhibition. The first exhibits of the Natural History Museum, soil samples from Dokuchaiev's expedition of 1896 gathered in Poltava region, are also shown. Philanthropy has long been fundamental to the establishment, operation and the development of the museums, especially in the historic context of Ukraine and beyond. The Vasyl Krachevsky Poltava Local Law Museum is no exception, as names of generous benefactors are forever inscribed in the museum's history. Among the key contributors of the museum's collection was Kateryna Skarzhynska, a member of the Lubny aristocracy who gave more than 20,000 artifacts to the establishment in 1906. Her bequest, comprising archaeological, historical and ethnographic collection, artifacts and the archival materials, as well as numismatics, religious, artistic and natural history collections, continues to impress researchers today. The display tables presents a number of rare artifacts collected by Kateryna Skarzhynska. For example, there are items of women's clothing, a women's belt and a pair of oriental shoes decorated with canetil. Religious artifacts are represented by crosses of the 18th–19th century, unique two-sided icon, the crucifixion of the 19th century, folded icons of St. George the Victorious and Madonna and Child of the 18th–19th centuries, icon Venerable Sergius and Herman of Valaam of the 19th century. Archaeological assemblage is represented by Corinthian erybalas, ancient Greek vessel for aromatic fluids such as aromatic oils. Such vessels were primarily used by men. The folk art collection includes traditional 19th century clay toys, including horse-shaped whistle toys, as well as miniature ceramic vessels of various forms: cups, pots, jars, milk pails and soup tureens. The collection of Oriental antiquities was formed in the museum thanks to the philanthropic activity of another advocate of museum development, Pavlo Pavlovich Bobrovskyi, who during 1894–1917 gave more than 3,000 items collected while traveling around Egypt, Italy, Greece, countries of Near and Far East, Persia, the Ottoman Empire, India, Indonesia, Tibet, China and Japan, lands of Africa. Among the artifacts on display, particular attention should be given to a sheath of an antelope hunting spear made of alligator skin, Africa, the 19th century. Indo-Persian collection is represented by a copper plate with an oriental scene surrounded by floral pattern. The most renowned part of Bobrovsky's collection is Egyptian assemblage. It is also demonstrated here, as you can observe, scarabei amulets and pateka, ancient Egyptian protective amulet in the form of a dwarf with crooked legs and hands resting on his knees. Sculptural model of pharaoh's head, ushepti, special figurines depicting people with different tools used during funeral rites in ancient Egypt. They were intended to perform various tasks in the afterlife on behalf of their owner. The classical collection is represented by gutus, ancient Greek vessel for pouring a drop at a time. Among the Chinese rarities, a porcelain vase of the 19th century is shown. Easter egg made of ostrich shell is also shown nearby. The walls beside the display cases contains these collections are decorated with portraits of Vasyl Dokuchaiev, Kateryna Skarzhynska and Pavlo Bobrovskyi. They were painted according to visual sources artist Valery Pabokov. A museum is not only a repository of rare artifacts, but also a keeper of collective memory. Throughout the 135-year history of the Vasyl Krachevsky Poltava Local Museum, generations of museum professionals, scholars and benefactors shaped its identity. On the occasion of this anniversary, we gratefully remember the founders and the benefactors of the museum, Vasyl Dokuchaiev, Kateryna Skarzhynska and Pavlo Bobrovskyi, whose dedication and generosity contributed greatly to its development and prosperity.